I'll tell you one that got away from us. Anthony Johnson versus Jon Jones. And that fight was supposed to take place at one time. And before you knew it, Anthony had retired and the fight didn't happen. I think Jon's hit and run is what interrupted that, and Jon was suspended. And at any rate, Anthony's gone and we didn't get that fight. But there is some talk about him coming back. By him. He is saying he has that itch again. Now, he's actually in a very interesting spot. Okay. Before Daniel Cormier had moved up to heavyweight, Anthony Johnson kind of had a wide open lane to come back at heavyweight. And I'll remind you guys, when he was on the regional circuit, when he was in the UFC, then out of the UFC and working his way back on the regional circuit, he covered a span of many weight classes, but one of them was heavyweight. And he had some very tough fights, including against Andrei Arlovski, where he broke Andrei's jaw into that fight in the very first round. I mean, he did some really good work at heavyweight. When he settled back in the UFC, he settled back at 205 pounds. Had the problems with Daniel Cormier matchups, and then ended up surprisingly retiring from the sport. But I always thought, boy, there's a big opportunity. We're going to see Rumble back. Rumble is going to come back, but when and where? I would think it will be at heavyweight, and I will think he will have some very compelling matchups. And however he does in them, he will still, with success, be fast-tracked to a world championship fight. I think I'm right about all of those things. The trouble for Anthony came when Daniel Cormier all of a sudden moved up to heavyweight. Because if Rumble was to come back, I personally believe he would be at heavyweight. He's been into powerlifting, and he looks great, and he's spending all that same time that he used to spend in MMA. He's spending it lifting weights. He's huge. I don't think he's going to come back and try to take that weight off and go back to 205 pounds. If he did, be a magnificent fight there with he and Jones. I just don't think he would do that, which means he's coming back at heavyweight, which begs the question, where can he go? He's going to come in, be an instant contender just by putting his name on a contract, win a fight, be a top contender, and then run right back into Daniel Cormier, which is just simply not a fight that they're going to make for a third time. Just not going to happen. Now, with the announcement that Daniel Cormier has an expiration date of possibly March 6th, if he is to stay at that opinion of himself, and that begs to be true, then Anthony Rumble Johnson could come back, grab a win, wait for the expiration date, and all of a sudden slide right into a contenders fight, a championship title fight at heavyweight. The reason I bring this up is there continues to be speculation, and now there's starting to be a little bit more evidence, and now you're even seeing Rumble say, and I quote, "I have the itch," and then he's releasing photos of himself in the gym. And why isn't the MMA gym? He's still working out, he still looks fantastic, and there are still people there that want to see him. He's one of those guys that left the sport and retired too soon. I think that there's room for him to come back. I think there's a roadmap for him to come back in compelling matches and go right to the top. And I think with the retirement of Daniel Cormier, I think I just laid that roadmap out.